Hello, good morning. This is Nas from NB Network Lessons. Hope everyone's doing okay and having a fantastic day. Quote of the day today is towards the young people, young folks. There is no magic in getting married. However, there is magic in staying married. So remember that. Having said that, this is physics lesson number 51. Date today is 9/19/2024, and we're going to solve another free fall motion problem. You can expect a similar problem on your physics exam, it's guaranteed. Okay. So basically, what's going on is in this problem is that this is right here a sea, this is a boat, and there are some folks who were stranded on this boat and they need food. Okay. So this heli is basically comes up to rescue them, and it's basically flying and then stationary at the top of the boat. Okay. And they have the food bag. So what they do is that they gradually coming down at a velocity of negative 3 meters per second. Why negative? Because it's coming down, it's at coming down at a constant velocity. In other words, it's minus 3 meter per second. There is no acceleration. Okay. And then what they do is that they drop the food bag. So the question is, what is the speed of the food bag after it is dropped? Okay. So we have to find out, and the time given is 5 seconds. Okay. So we have to find basically when the heli is coming down at a constant velocity of negative 3 meters per second. While it's coming down, it drops a food bag to the folks in the boat. Okay. And the question is, what is the speed of the food bag after 5 seconds? So let's go ahead and dive into it. So let me ask you this. When the food bag is in the helicopter, it has not been dropped yet. What do you think the velocity of the food bag is? It is the same as the helicopter because the food bag is inside the helicopter and it's coming down at the same velocity as the helicopter. So then we can say Vi, which is initial velocity, is equal to negative 3 meters per second for the food bag also. All right. Now the question is, once the food bag is dropped, okay, once the food bag is dropped, it was in the helicopter coming down minus 3 meters per second, but then once it's dropped, then that initial velocity is gone. Now what you have is acceleration due to gravity. Makes sense, right? So then A, or acceleration due to gravity, is going to be minus 9.8 meters per second square. Okay, that's for the free fall. Now the question is, they have asked is, what is the speed or what is the velocity? What is the velocity of this bag, food bag, after 5 seconds? Okay. So what do you think? Which equation should I apply? Which equation of motion should I apply? By now, you should have learned all three equation of motions which are applied for horizontal motion, vertical motions. You should have engraved them in your mind by now, and I hope you do. So then we can apply Vf, final velocity, is equal to initial velocity plus at. Okay. Vf is what we are looking for. All right. And then Vi in this case is negative 3. Okay. Plus gravity, because it's a free fall motion. So there is gravity, negative 9.8. All right. And then the time is 5 seconds because they want to know what's the velocity of the food bag after it's dropped after 5 seconds. So once you solve this, my friends, then your final velocity comes out to be minus 52 meters per second because it's going down. All right. Now, another question is, how far below is the food bag below the helicopter? Okay. So that's an interesting question. So basically, understand this now. This is the reference point. Okay. That is where the heli was initially. Okay. So heli is constantly coming down. So let's say this position is heli as it's constantly coming down. I'll put an arrow right here, right? Then the food bag is also dropped. So let's say this is the position of the food bag, okay? And then basically you have your sea right here, ocean or sea, whatever you want to consider, okay? Now the question is, what they've asked is, how much distance food bag is away from helicopter? So they're talking about asking you this distance right here. Now understand this, both are moving down, okay? Helicopter is coming down at a velocity of -3 meters per second, whereas the food bag, after it was dropped, it's basically coming down at an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square because it's not in the helicopter anymore. It's just a free fall motion. So then what we have to do is, the question they have asked is that how far is the food bag below the helicopter? So what we need to do is we need to find the position, okay? We need to find the position of both, where heli is, where food is, and that's how we can find this distance right here. And we can call this distance y, okay? So then which equation should I apply? Well, we can apply, let me go ahead and do this in blue because this is kind of like the second part of the problem. So then y is equal to y naught plus VIT plus half AT square. This equation of motion is used when you need to find the distance. Okay. So then y is equal to, now what is the initial velocity? What is the initial velocity of the bag? You know, so basically bag is at a constant, helicopter is at a constant speed and bag is inside. If you're looking at when helicopter has not descending yet, has not started descending yet, okay? So what is going to be the initial velocity? It's going to be 0, right? And what is the initial velocity? Initial velocity is same as the helicopter, which is -3, okay? Time is 5, so multiplied by 5 plus half minus 9.8, and the time is 5 square, okay? So my friends, when you solve this, y is equal to -15 minus 122.5 is equal to -137.5 meter, okay? So then the bag position right here is -137.5 meter below the reference point, okay? Below the reference point. So this is the reference point. That's where the heli was initially, and it had not started descending yet. So we consider this as a reference point. So this, I'm talking about this distance up till here, okay? But we need to find out the distance between heli and the food bag, right? So what we found out was the distance of the food bag. We put that down. Food bag, okay? This is food bag. Now what we got to do is we got to find out how far the bag is below the helicopter, okay? So how are we going to do that? What we have to do is we have to find out. Let me do that in red so that there is clarity. Okay, kind of running out of space, but let's see if I can fit this in. So position of heli, I'm going to write this down. Position of heli, okay, below the reference point. This right here is the reference point, initial position. So what we do is that we do y is equal to y naught plus vit plus half at square. Now let me ask you this. In this particular case, we have to find the distance uh, between the reference point and where heli is right now. So what is the initial position when the y was stationary? It was not moving. The helicopter was not moving. 0 is equal to 0 times t. What was the initial velocity of the helicopter when it was coming down, right? So in this case, initial velocity of the helicopter was -3. It's coming down. -3 in the time after 5 seconds. So that's 5 seconds, my friend, plus half. Now here's the trick question. What would be the acceleration of the helicopter? Think about it. There is no acceleration because helicopter is coming down at -3 meters per second at a constant velocity. If there was an acceleration, then let's say if there was 2 meters per second square acceleration, then every second the speed would increase. But in this case, they're saying the speed is not increasing, so the acceleration is 0. So a lot of students make that mistake. So please be careful with that. Okay. And when you do that, solve this, you get minus 15 meter. So here you go, my friends. So this position right here is -15 meter, and where the food bag is -137.5 meter. Now the question they have asked is how far heli and food bag are apart after 5 seconds, okay, after the drop off has taken place. So that's pretty simple now. All you got to do is you can just say, um, let me write this down right here. How far the bag is from heli. So that would be -15 -1. You have to keep the signs in your mind. -15 minus -137.5. And when you solve this, you get 122.5 meter. So that is, my friend, the answer. That is the distance between heli and food. Hope you had fun. I know it's a difficult problem, but I'm sure that you can tackle it. Watch this couple of times. It will make sense to you. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.